All right, here we go again. I hate doing this, I don't like being in front of camera. That's why Dan Meck was hired to do this. So anyway, salute! Welcome back to the Kenpo Brotherhood Roundtable show for the month of December 2022. All right, this is our last show of the year, and my name is Sibora Chan. I'm standing in for Dan Meck. He cannot be here today due to some family matters that he has to take care of. Also, Mr. Angelo Collado was scheduled to be in this video as well. Unfortunately, he's been ill, so he cannot join us, and we hope that he feels better. Okay, so featuring in this video today, we will have Mr. Brian Sahl, Mr. Mark Lawler, Mr. Stewart from Ontario, Canada, and myself, okay? The other half of the lineup of instructors that we will have on our private page, our Brotherhood private page will be Mr. Michael Miller, Mr. David Gigliotti, Mr. Dan Dunfro, Mr. Lorenzo Jimenez, all the way from Barcelona, Spain, and also from the warm Miami, Mr. Montesor Noir. If you want to check the other guys out, please become a member of the Brotherhood. To become a member is very easy. All you have to do is go to brotherhoodkenpo.com and register, and we will grant you access to our private page, and you can view hundreds and hundreds of videos that we have posted over the year. Okay, the technique for today is locking horns. Locking horn is an orange belt technique in the American Kenpo karate system where it is a self-defense against a front headlock. Okay, so some of you guys might call it the guillotine headlock or whatever. Whatever the name is, doesn't matter. They got you in a good hole. All right, so what we're gonna do is each instructor will share with us their take on what to do in this situation. Okay?
Hey everybody, Brian Sahl here, and welcome to another episode of the Brotherhood Roundtable. Can't believe we're at the end of 2022 already, but I'm looking forward to an awesome 2023. So today's technique is locking horns. So let's talk a little bit about this technique. And for those of you who have heard me in the past, I always like to think about the technique relationships. What technique is this like, or what technique is it not like, whatever the case may be. And when you look at locking horns, one of the first thing that jumps out in terms of similarities are those first two moves, right? You got this and you got this. And so you got the groin shot with the elbow that tracks up under the chin. And if you think about that, where's the first place you saw someone get hit in the groin followed by a shot to the chin with an elbow? Right? You got behind you, you got your rear elbow, hammer fist, and then you got your upward elbow. They're behind you, right, in obscure wing. This time, they're in front of you. All right? But is it really so different to strike forward and then hit with the elbow versus strike back and then hit with the elbow? Very similar in terms of techniques. It's just, again, applying that equation formula and changing where your placement is, your timing, your range, your distance, your weapon, whatever the case may be. Another one that it makes me think of is unfurling crane, right? When you get up to this part where you go strike to the groin, hit with that elbow, right? And then as you unfurl, you shoot this left hand sword in, followed by the kick and the chop. But really, what is that? Again, it's hit, 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 which is no different than in locking horns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you change the chop to an elbow. It's the same thing. So it's interesting to see some of those patterns, and literally you just play around with them. Start doing one technique and go, this feels similar. Where have I done this before? And start running through the catalog of techniques, and you come up with some of these relationships. All right, enough of the brainy stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the technique itself. If someone's got you in a front headlock and they're cinched in, man, this is a dangerous position to be in, especially if they get that forearm under your on your throat. It's bad. The other thing you got to think about is when someone's here, if they've got training, you know there's going to be a crank back, right? They're going to try and crank you back is one potential scenario you got to deal with, okay? And that gets very dangerous. You can get neck breaks in there, you got the guillotine and all of that stuff that you got to be aware of. So in order to stop someone from this, you've got to create space between you and them. So that's the intention of this first move. When your head is down, now don't let them cinch it on. For any of these techniques, as soon as you see that arm coming around, you need to catch that arm, anchor the elbow, and apply opposing force so that they're not cinching in. Get that chin down to cover your airway, okay? So you're gonna pull this arm down, and as you do that, you're gonna step forward with your right leg, and you're gonna hit them with a knife end, but at the same time, give them a little nudge with the shoulder. The idea here is you wanna get that happening. You wanna get space created between you and them. That will make it much more difficult for them to sit back, something like that. All right, so you got to create that space. So we're gonna, same thing, you're gonna try and pull that arm down, okay? You're gonna sit, you got to protect the airway. And as soon as you pull this down, all right, you're gonna step forward, hit that hand sword, and give them a shoulder nudge. Create that space, okay? Again, I'm looking up for the purpose of the camera, but you would have your chin down. All right, now right from here, you're gonna turn into what we call a modified neutral bow. Neutral bow is on a 45 with the heel toe alignment. A modified neutral bow is the same thing, but your feet are parallel instead of being on the 45. And that from here, you're gonna stand up with this elbow. Again, creating a reaction, okay? You hit someone in the groin, the idea is you get them to go here. You hit someone under the chin, the idea is you want them to go back. You're always activating that next target. Okay, so you're gonna pull. Okay, you're gonna step up, give them the bump with the shot to the groin. Don't do them up here because if their groin's up here, man, just turn around and run. Hit to the groin. All right, you're gonna pivot, you're gonna stand up and you're gonna hit with the upward elbow under the chin. And as that sends their chin back, that's going to bring their next target forward. And hit, you're gonna hit here, you're gonna hit with a palm heel or a knife hand to the sternum or lower. You don't wanna go too high to the chest because you'll knock them back. You wanna bring their head forward, so you gotta hit lower to the sternum or below, so that when they bring their head forward, now it's positioned for this elbow sandwich, okay? So, once again, you're down here, you're gonna pull, you're gonna step up, create space, boom, turn, hit, raise, palm heel, and as this palm heel, this hand's circling around to come in with that downward sandwiching elbow, right there. All right, 1, 2, turn, hit, stand them up, bring the head down as this hand's loading, and then bring it in for that forward inward elbow sandwich. Now, for those of you who want to do the extension right from here, you let this elbow bleed into a hammer fist, okay? And then you're gonna take your right knee, you're gonna drive it into their groin or right knee, kick stomp so that they fall down. So now they're on their back in front of you, and you just step that leg down. Now you're gonna kick behind, you're gonna stomp and rock back as you step out for the end of it. And that stomp goes to the inside of the femoral, and you rock back so you're putting that weight all on that femoral to crush that area before you rock back forward and cross out. All right, so here, pull, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, rock, and then come back out, boom. When I first learned this technique, we didn't do this followed by this. We did a knee check followed by this, boom, and very similar. The problem that I always had with that approach is you haven't done anything to the thing that's choking you out. Okay, you haven't done a thing to it. You've checked the knee, you're hoping on this is loosening it up. You're hoping on all of this, but you've never actually relieved pressure. So take this pressure, all right, and let me take a step back. The reason people do that is they're afraid of eating a knee, right? So you figure if you check the knee out, boom, you don't have to worry about it, but you haven't handled this. So if you think about it, when you pull, I want you to think about pulling not just to relieve the pressure, but also to have them put that weight on that leg so that you can't bring it up, okay? And this is also why you don't hesitate for this shot to create that space. So as soon as this hand comes around, pull, relieve, get some weight on that right leg, all right, so that they're not shooting that knee. Pull, tuck the chin, step up, boom, hit, elbow, palm heel, hit, one, knee, kick, stomp, stomp, rock, and then come out. And that's your full locking horns. As always, wonderful to see everyone. Happy upcoming new year. We had a great 22. Let's keep it going for 23. If you're not a Brotherhood member, come in and join us. Again, it's about 50 bucks a year, $5 a month. It's really not that much. And we have this huge library of instructional videos on our website. Probably 500-600 videos out there of just information and material. So if you like what you're seeing here with the Brotherhood, please do reach out and join us. It's not expensive and we have a good time. So thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Everybody out there in Brotherhood land, Stewart here along with my good black belt, Terry Tate. So, quick story, we filmed this last night quickly. Then I get a text from Paul, the videographer, saying, what did it say, Paul?
It didn't record.
So tonight I'm down at Solid Gold. You guys go, yeah, I know. And I get this text from Paul, let's do it now. So, you know, guys, you know, Solid Gold or leave. I mean, during the lockdown, I was all you take out there. Rest assured. Anyway, a few laughs for the guys who have been to that area in London, Ontario, Canada. Now back to some serious locking horns. I was kind of doing that at Solid Gold tonight. Anyway, locking horns is more for in close grappling. Wasn't one of my fave, but you know, the extension's kind of cheesy, but I'll leave that to some people who want to do that part of it. Anyway, I'm just going to go over some of the mechanics from the way we do it here. So you know it's for the front headlock. Somebody says, well, how do you get in that front headlock? And I say, just bend over. There, now you're in a front headlock. But anyway, a couple things you want to remember. Everything I try to do and try to teach, especially when I was traveling years ago, was the two-way action. No matter what you're doing, everything two-way action will make it that much more effective. You have effective, you have ineffective, effective, most effective. I like to be most effective most of the time. So we'll do the blueprint way here. Front headlock here. So at the same time you're stepping in, you're striking just above the patella and striking the groin. So when I'm doing that, I'm doing two-way action like this. There's a motor point on top of the patella that releases the whole knee. Since this one on the outside controls the bottom here from a meridian acupuncture point perspective, same time I'm striking into the groin, in and up, I'm striking in and down on the knee, same time. Same time I move, I'm moving that way. And I usually do it in a closed kneel. Some people do wide kneel. I do this in a closed kneel because it allows me a lot of torque when I counter torque this way, and I'm gonna come up the volley. Follow me, line, path of action, the obscure elbow coming up this way here. As this comes up, I'm gonna counter torque, and I'm gonna strike down on the center line of the body between the xiphoid process and the umbilicus, striking down this way, brings him forward. Now don't go back. And if he goes back, you just have to catch up to him. But at the same time, you strike in and down, you're gonna catch here, strike. A lot of people strike to, you know, the other side of the mandible, I mean, which is fine. But if you're in Canada, you know, you get charged, you go to jail and everything. So, I mean, if your life's, you know, in danger, then what the hell. But anyway, there's a point here below the earlobe, between the earlobe and the base of the neck, the collarbone, in the middle here. That, and if you hit that insertion point straight across, what it means, one side has to be sealed, then you strike the other side. If I just do this and tap, you can feel that effect. So that would be the sound. That's the way, another way you could do that. If you catch it here, allowing margin for error, you could strike it in that position, but all you have to do is seal one side. So again, the blueprint way, stepping at the same time you step. You don't want to step in this strike, that's constipated. Same time, boom, move, rotate. I like to rotate on this one, gathering up the body, striking down on that side, catching, and collapse. That's the base move, the way we do it here. So, couple things to remember on that one. If you're hitting that point in here, in and up this way does this, in and down will collapse it. And it's a two-way action. If I just do one-way action, he'll feel that, but if it's a big guy like some of the guys I've had in there, a huge guy, you're never gonna make that work. Two-way action will always make it work 99.9% of the time. Now, here's the what if scenario. I'll let you go with the what if. If I come this way here and I strike this way here and I rotate and I come up this way here to this position, he might grab me. If he grabs me this way, all I'm gonna do is move up the circle this way, countercard. I can take him straight down. Another insertion point that releases the shoulder between the elbow and the shoulder. So that's just one scenario. Again, coming this way, I can strike this way, rotate, come up, he catches my arm, or he catches me, doesn't matter. He starts to put pressure on me, all I'm gonna do, instead of rolling with it, I'm gonna roll up the circle, rotate, and take him down to the ground. So that's one way to counter that one. Another way is, if I can't get up, if he gets me nowhere, if we're grappling, locking horns. You know, I was here first at Solid Gold. That's my table. And he strikes in, and I go to rotate, and he stops me, stonewalls me right here. You can just grab the back of the calf, push on the knee, two-way action, boom, set to the ground like dance of death. Grab this way, that was my table, right? You know, whatever. Bust his ankle, buy him a beer. So again, that's another what if scenario. If you're in this position and you rotate and you turn to come up and he stonewalls you, you can't. That is another way you can do it. Just here, push on that. It's two-way action again. Back of the calf here, two-way action, drop up. Keep it close to your body. You guys know the West, wide kneel, wrap up, pivot, there. So, a couple things I want to make clear on that. From the base move, if I'm doing the base move, rotate, come up, check, collapse. That's how we do the base move. So you just matter, a couple of those insertion points will really make a huge difference, especially if they're much bigger than you, can kind of even the odds up. A big guy really doesn't need them, kind of overkill. But I just wanted to tie those couple things up. I think that's all I want to say about that. Let everybody else play with whatever way you want to do it. Just keep it tight, keep it close. For me, it's more like in close combat for locking horns. Anyway, got to get back to Solid Gold. So, have a great night. Thank you, Terry. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Once again, hopefully this recorded. And sorry, Sibora, for getting it late to you. Again, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. And again, congratulating a couple months ago Sibora on his 9th, and more recently, Mark Lawler, longtime friend, on his 9th, and Dan the Man Mac on his 8th promotion. Congratulations to all of you. Love you all. Talk soon.
All right, locking horns. It is for a front headlock. Okay? Locking horn is a very dangerous technique, okay? Or it is a self-defense against a very dangerous attack, okay? So the attack is for a front headlock. That puts you in a deadly situation. If you don't know how to get out of it, you can end up dying, okay? So, they got you in a headlock. You're down here. Once again, how you got here is irrelevant. You are now find yourself locked up, okay? So from here, we check his knee, step in ridge hand, elbow, heel palm, and sandwiching elbow. Okay, so watch it again. 1, 2, 3. I'll do it sideways so you can see that. 2, we go check the knee, step in, ridge hand, elbow, heel palm, and then sandwiching elbow and cover out. Hopefully that's all you need, okay? Now, that's all great and dandy, but like any self-defense technique, you might need to alter it to make it work, okay? When somebody grab you like this, or like this, okay? So some instructor will teach that locking horn is for a front headlock this way, okay? When you don't know how to apply the headlock correctly right here, it's really nothing, okay? But people who knows what they're doing is that they're sneaking their fingers underneath your jacket, especially this time of year, you're wearing thick leather jacket or parkas or whatever, any heavier clothing than you would normally wear. They sneak their finger on one side, sneak finger on the other side underneath, and just wrench you, squeeze your windpipe. That's how it's done, okay? So they're sneaking their fingers in here from the top. If you can imagine, your neck is in between my forearm, and I squeeze, and this becomes like a vice, okay? So if you don't know what to do, your windpipe will be crushed, and then that's all she wrote. So when somebody gets you in a headlock like that, their objective is to choke you out, crush your windpipe. Serious stuff, right? That's right here. If you press on your own throat right here just a little bit, you can feel it. Imagine the guy come in full force and squeeze you, and his plan is to put you out. That is no joke, okay? So that's number one that we have to protect, is our throat, okay? So that's your primary protection right there. Your secondary targets that you have to protect is your chest and the side of your body, all right? So let's talk about that. How do I protect my throat, my windpipe? They grab you like this. If I check the knee first, good. I won't get hit with the knee, but he cranks my neck or my throat, then I'm done. Or if he knows what he's doing, he gets you locked up and he hops up and wrap his leg around your body and drop himself on the ground. You're gonna go on the ground with him in a headlock. Deadly situation, right? So what we want to do is protect your throat at all costs, protect your chest, and protect the side of your body. Okay, so to protect your windpipe, as your head is down here, he's got his arm coming, you felt it, you're gonna use your plug in and grab nice and tight. You want to secure his arm. Make sure he can't sneak underneath your chin and choke you out. Next thing you want to do is tuck your chin in toward your chest and turn your head toward his body, okay? So once you get this far, even though you let go, he should not be able to squeeze your neck, okay? So from here, but I don't want to trust that either, okay? So from here, we go here, we plug in, and we hold him tight. Now, once I get this secure, my chin is down, my head is turned, okay? You can bet that if he can't choke you out, he's gonna try to distract you in some other way. Maybe body shot, okay? So maybe he had to let go of one of his arm, which in this case is probably his left arm coming this way, and try to hook to the ribs, okay? So while I'm doing this, I'm keeping my elbow in, do what I can to protect as much as I can of my target right here, okay? So if he hooks in, hopefully he hits my arm and not to the floating ribs. On this side, my elbow is down, so if he's shooting knees, I'm gonna spike his thigh with my elbow. It's gonna happen automatically if he knees. So I secure his arm, preventing him from choking me out. I anchor my elbow to prevent him from doing hooks to the body, and then this elbow slightly point down just in case he knees. He will run into your elbow. So you have a little bit of protection everywhere, but primarily we want to protect that throat. Okay, so from here, once you get that far, we step in and ridge hand to the groin. The ridge hand is coming up. Okay, I'll back up a little bit, make sure you can see me in the camera. Okay, so try not to thrust your strike this way, but rather go up. Okay, so just swing it up like that. From here, you can stand up, elbow, heel palm, and then sandwiching elbow. The sandwiching elbow is that the heel palm hit one side of the jaw and your elbow hit on the other side of the jaw, temples, or both sides of the neck. Either one of those three works great. So you can go to the carotid, you go to the jaw, you can go to the temple. All right, so this elbow presents a little bit of a problem, especially with an opponent who's bigger and heavier than you. Once you hit somebody to the groin, then their hand is already here. So when you hit them to the groin, they have the tendency to bring their hand to where the pain is. So what happened is that they're leaning right on top of you. So if they are a bigger guy, this is gonna be a problem for you to get that elbow to work hard enough to drive him back. So in that case, what we would do, as soon as you hit here, he is on top of you. So instead of shooting your elbow this way, shoot your elbow this way, like a back upward elbow. Okay, that's gonna run right into his face. 1, 2, now you can get your head out, and the rest of the move is exactly the same. Okay, so we go here, 1, secure, chin tuck, head turn, step in, ridge hand, elbow straight up, get your head out as you heel palm, and then sandwiching elbows. So you can shuffle in right here if you need to. Okay, so this is very quick. It's a pop like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so try that out, see what you think. Here are some of the example that I want to share with you guys real quick on locking horns. Okay, as I mentioned earlier about the battery concept of grabbing and controlling your opponent's arm. So I just want to show you what that is, so in case you have any question. All right, so as you can see, I'm gonna have Jason stand right here so that you can see. As he reaches in to grab my head, see how his arm comes around like that? As soon as I see it coming, this hand is gonna hook here on the bottom, this hand's gonna grab on top, okay? So this is called the battery concept. It's basically positive, negative, or baseball bat grip. All right, so we got a hold of him right here. We're gonna tuck our chin in as we turn our head towards his body. Now from here, you can release your right hand and then do the shoot to the groin, okay? All right, so from here, I'll do it this way. As I shoot to the groin, okay, he's gonna bend down, and then I can stand up now, get my head out of the grip as I elbow up to the chin, to send him back a little bit. I heel palm to the midsection to bring him back towards me, and then I shuffle up into an inward elbow. Jason just gotta trust me a little bit more, okay? Boom, right there, okay? That should be all that she wrote, okay? So one more time, we grab, battery concept, okay? Stay this way so they can see. We got control of him right here. Once you got control, that's when you release that right hand. It is very important because if you don't have this secure and he sneaks this under your throat, you're done, okay? So secure, once I have it, my chin is tucked, I turn my head in towards his body, just in case somehow I slip and he's able to squeeze, he's not gonna be able to get my throat, okay? So you just wanna save your windpipe at all costs. So we strike, boom, okay? Stand up as you get your head out, elbow, heel palm, shuffle up, and sandwiching elbow. Then from here, you can smother his face, get rid of him, and exit out. So one of the problems that I see is that once you do a ridge hand to the groin, as the guy leans forward, if he's a bigger guy, like Mr. John over here, all of his weight is gonna be on top of you, okay? When his weight is on top of you, it's almost impossible to get this elbow to work to come up along the body. So one of the solutions that I figured is this, okay? So I'll show you, Mr. John, come over here. So as he grabs, okay, I secure his hand. Move in a little bit, Joe. Okay, so I strike to the groin. As I step in, I strike to the groin. So as I strike, he leans forward. So for me to get this elbow to work is almost impossible. So what I'm gonna do is I hit here, you see where his head is at? I automatically raise my elbow towards his face like that. Automatically, boom, that should hit the chin, sends him backward. Now you know where you are. That heel palm hit, bring that head forward, and then we move in and hit him right there. So another advantage to doing this is that contain the opponent keep and use his limb against him. Okay, so we go here, boom, I elbow to send him up. I get my head out, I still have his body right here. I can take him down to the ground from right there. Okay, nice and simple. From this grab, also you can go into spiraling twig type of movement, okay? Secure, step in, ridge hand, elbow to send his head back. Now I'm here and back, boom. Okay, so now we're in the spiraling twig position, or we can go into flight to freedom movement as well. So there's a couple of different finishes that you can play with, but one of my favorite secure, hold on, strike, hit, get your head out of there, get in front of him, and boom, okay? So if you're gonna do this one, some of the important point that you want to look at is that you want to secure his arm here and secure his either shoulder or better yet, right at his neck, okay? What we're doing here, I can strike it or I can just firmly press on it, okay? Pressing check. If he shoot his left hand towards my face, I could get hit right here. So as you do this, you want to press, hide your head right alongside his arm, just like that. This also make an additional point of contact on his elbow, preventing him from bending that elbow and come around and grab me or whatever. And this is one of the important thing about this check, because if he's able to, if I don't do this, right, Jason can slip around back and get me in a bear hug. So now we're in trouble, but like I said, we can go right back to spiraling twig, okay? Which you guys all know. But let's go into the finishing move that I like, okay? So we go here, secure, hit, elbow, get your head out, check his neck, check his shoulder, whatever, hide your head, back and behind, and you're right here. From right here, press straight down, breaking the elbow, punches as many times as you need. If you do this right, take a few ribs with you. Who doesn't like ribs? Ribs, great. Okay, boom, right here. All right, there you go. That's my take on locking horns. Thank you.
Greetings, Kenpo Brotherhood. Mark and Gail from Kennett Square for another Kenpo Roundtable. Today's technique is locking horns, which is for a front headlock. Now, it's important that we have a discussion about the difference between a front headlock and what's called a guillotine, and the whole idea and importance of protecting the neck. Anytime somebody goes to grab your neck, rule number one, thou art shall protect the airway. Okay, this is very important. Now, along with this comparison, when we look at the Kenpo syllabus for this, is the head position. And what dictates what you can and can't do with the head position. Also, how fast you react, frankly, is what is going to make the difference as far as what you're able to do. So, if we look at the front headlock, for example, this, if you watch, Gail, if you could bend, and the way you see most people practice locking horns, the person's in front like this, okay? And it's discussed to check the knee, check my knee, Gail, and step in with the ridge hand shot, okay? And the argument there is, well, you don't want to get knee to the face. That's true. The problem is, if you don't deal with this hand and that person starts to crank on you, you're going to go to sleep or worse. So, not to say checking the knee is an awful idea, but depending on how much time you have, how quickly you react, you better do something about that hand, okay? So I'm going to have Gail demonstrate that in a sec, but we're both just going to run through locking horns facing the camera first. So what I'm going to have you do, now again in locking horns, you're turning away from the elbow to the space, and we're protecting the neck by getting that counter grab in there with an anchored elbow. You're going to step forward, and the common teaching is to hit with a ridge hand. I'm going to tell you to use your forearm and come up high, up in between the legs. What we're trying to do there is, notwithstanding the genitalia, is we're going to try to go past that into that pelvic diaphragm and try to break that. Now with that, you get that spinal reflex. If you hit a person that way, they can't avoid doing this. Because we all know with this technique, people go, well, his arm's still over my head. Well, if you really crank the person correctly, you're going to get this reaction. If you don't hit them right, they're still going to be holding on to you, okay? Or that arm's going to be up or in a way when you come up with that elbow. So back to start here. So we come in and we smash that crotch. Okay, now we upright, the elbow comes up under the jaw. Now we have the option here of four bow and chop into the solar plexus, which should bring the head back. Now we're going to sandwich, but this elbow is going to come in on diagonal, and we're going to try to catch that jaw hinge, okay? Rather than just a standard sandwiching technique there, okay? Another option to the groin, this isn't very nice, but you can step in and you can grab a hold and rip. That works too. In some cases, that works a little bit better, particularly if you can't get a good step in. You can just go in that case, obviously attacking the genitalia. All right, so I'm gonna have Gail walk this through on me. Why don't we face this direction? Gail, you're facing me here. I'm gonna get you to bend. Actually, better the other way so we can see. Okay, so in this case, she's turning away, right? She's gonna protect her airway. Step in and blast. This is what she's looking for. Okay, I just reacted with that spinal reflex. She drives up with that elbow, bam, forward bow, bam. This is gonna bring me down and catch that jaw hinge. Okay? Now, the issue with the guillotine is going to be the position of the head. Okay, so if I may grab you, Gail. A true guillotine, the head's to the outside here. See? They're not holding you in front like this. They're out here, tight, and they begin to thrust the hips forward and pull up. You grab your own wrist, and that's what it is, a guillotine. You're cutting off the airflow, and if done correctly, you're also cutting off the two carotids. Now, when that happens, you can't turn your head toward the space, okay? You're going to be looking out toward the elbow. You might be able to turn in and bite the guy, depending on clothing and whatnot, but that whole idea of turning towards a space like that is going to be rendered moot, okay? Now, when a person cranks up on you, it starts to become very difficult for you to hit them. So, I'm going to show you guys a jiu-jitsu based escape here. I'll explain it first and I'll demonstrate it. So we're going to say, okay, you're guillotined. You make that counter grab, okay, and we hold on. Your hand is going to come over the shoulder and basically hug. If they crank up on you, that hand and that counter grab are keeping you from getting choked badly. Now as they lift, you're going to hop around here. You're going to chop the back of the knee and shuffle. They're going to come down. I don't know if I'm still in frame or not. They're going to land on the mat. You're going to follow them down to the mat there. And then you're going to basically put a forearm across their neck, okay? Now, it's a bit of a size difference here, obviously. So I'm just going to walk it through and show you guys what I'm talking about. Once you come around my neck here, great. So I'm holding on. I got her by the shoulder here. She starts to crank me. I'm going to hop around here, chop the back of that knee, and shuffle. She's going to come down. Now, I won't follow her down, but I'm going to come on top of her. I'm going to drive that forearm up into the neck. Come on up there. So I recommend if you're doing this type of thing with a front headlock, locking horns, certainly a great technique, but you got to protect the neck. And I'd recommend blending it with some jiu-jitsu based techniques to round it out. I think that about covers it. All right, so Mark and Gail signing off, and we'll catch you next month. Thank you.
I hope that you enjoyed the video, and we appreciate your continued support, and salute. That's very important to us. And I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you next year. Let's Kenpo on. Salute. Happy holidays.